to another reaction video. Here we are, everyone. I didn't think this would become like a thing, like at all, so yeah. It's surprising that things turn out this way. But I can't help but actually get very curious by the whole Mort thing, since it's just really interesting, in all honesty. Like, there is a lot to really say about um Mort as a character. And the fact that he just seems to attract this kind of thing is like um um well, it's not, I actually don't know how to actually say this. But yes, this is a very interesting uh theory that just really caught my attention, and I just can't help but get interested in this type of theory. So I am going to commit to this journey on the Mort theory. Um, this is going to be the, I guess, season 1 through 3, or I don't know. This is the first part of 3 long videos. So, uh, I hope you all enjoy this like beginning part. Now, here's how things are gonna work. For every video, I'm just gonna do every bit. Like, for example, I'm gonna do season 1 through 3, and the next one it's gonna be 4 through 5. Then it's gonna be 5 through 6, and then it's gonna go to spin-off evidence, and then the truth about Mort. That's how it's gonna work, and all this and all that. It's it's an interesting one. I'm not gonna lie. It's just gonna be a bit long. Well, for me that is, because to make sure that things go all right, I'm gonna react to the whole thing. This is gonna be kind of like, as I said, the SpongeBob compilation theory, which yeah, this is gonna be interesting. But yeah, I guess with this said, I hope you'll enjoy this video. If you do, hit the like button down below, hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button, be notified immediately when new video comes out. And yeah, when this is all over, I'm gonna make my own compilation on my reaction to the Mort theory from beginning to end. So let's see how this goes, shall we? But yeah. But other than that, if there's any videos you'd like to recommend, comment section below. Link's gonna be down in the description below. So with this all said, let's get started, shall we?
Oh yes, I'm really doing this. Everyone viewing this, welcome to part 2. What you are watching right now is the second part to what could possibly end up being a 15-part series, and I will link part 1 in the little card above now.
Okay.
It's only 10 minutes long, and it's a decent establishment video that attempts to organize what is to come. It's a prologue, and it truly highlights some of the things that Mort has done. In the Madagascar franchise, that is. Some people thought I was making outlandish claims about him in that video and not backing it up. I want to again inform you, those were not my claims. Those were literally things Mort is in the spin-off show. He does have like 12 wives. He is a soul sucker. He is genetically anomalous. I also do have some more news, though. The mystery series I will be incorporating into this, alongside my Dubois and Over the Hedge theories, might be my 8-part series on the lore of Shrek. That means timeline theory, 4 godmother theories, 2 donkey theories, and the recent Reggie video will all be a part of this huge DreamWorks dissertation. We'll see how big this video, part 2, ends up being as well, and then we'll regroup. Before we begin, I also have updated news on the Madagascar timeline. From what I understand, Penguins of Madagascar, the TV show, does come after everything in the timeline because at the end of their movie, they meet up with the circus gang again in a post-credits scene I had missed. We see Julian and friends in a Madagascar crate during the Penguins TV intro sequence, but it's likely a scheme of some sort after breaking up with Sonia. So with that said, incorporating the shorts and once again excluding the intro scenes of Madagascar 2 and Penguins, our official timeline stands as All Hail King Julian, The Christmas Caper, Madagascar the First, Merry Madagascar, Madagascar the Second, Madly Madagascar, Madagascar the Third, the Penguins movie, and yes, finally the Penguins TV show. We've finally put a definitive and necessary close on the timeline. There seems to be an upcoming Hulu prequel show detailing the zoo gang as children, and that would be before everything, but it's irrelevant to Mort, and it's not even here yet. So now, people, do you know what time it is? I promised part 2 would be me detailing Mort's oddness in the Penguins TV show, but I just had to watch All Hail King Julian. I had to, and I watched all 6 seasons of it. It consumed the month of May. It's why I got no uploads out. So we'll do that first and highlight every bit of oddness in this video. Warning of a lifetime, I might need more than just one.
Alright.
Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and you can tell it's weird when this show is stranger than all of my other theories combined. It's made by different people, but it's canon still, so this will get interesting. It's basically like these writers are literally tempting conspiracy theorists. They load in as many offhand weird comments as possible and literally bait you into solving them. Silver platter granted to me, I swear to you. It's painfully self-aware. What they've done is crazy. Mort is like if my Patrick Star theories all came true. I'm not joking. He truly is a multi-dimensional identity absorber. This is quickly going to devolve into a rapid bullet point format of insanity. Any qualms I had about him just...
Yeah, I can admit, that sounds like a case of insanity. Not gonna lie. Sounds like a total complete case of that. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It absolutely does sound like it. So, yeah. But anyway, let's continue on, shall we?
Being delusional this whole time were obliterated with this show from the first moments when he tempts the Fusa with a high-key, dance. What this episode does try to explain is the feet. Julian rushes in and kicks the predators away with his dance, and Mort develops an obsession with his savior, King Julian, and the weapon of his salvation, his, feet. It might not be the true root of this obsession, though. We'll see later if it's a red herring or not. Here, Mort has suspicious intentions, and seems smart enough to evade death, and has love for Julian. We already know all of this. The show is full of that fast-paced, lazy joke slapstick, and yet it's also wildly inappropriate and amusing at totally random moments. This will also be a review of the show in some ways. In episode 2, he continues with the inappropriate references, and in episode 3, he authors a best-selling coloring book called 50 Shades of King Julian. When asked to keep a secret, he claims that he has voices that tell him to hide things until it's too late for people to stop him. In this episode, he also survives being eaten by a carnivorous flower and projectile vomiting way more than his body allows for. He is also blown up, crushed, carried away by a bird, and slammed into the ground from hundreds of feet. And again, the humor, it's so adult. There is no way kids wouldn't pick up on this. It's so constant. In the following episode, people literally get drunk from partying, and in episode 5, the Fusa engage in a proclaimed mating ritual to create a new species. It's absolutely crazy. There's this evil Fanaloka named Carl, who has an intimate relationship with his purring pet cockroach. The show is self-aware, and Mort is always the show's test subject. The characters seem to already know he's indestructible, and they send him into dangerous situations constantly. Mort thinks Julian has exploded near the end of episode 3, and proclaims that no matter how much Julian rots, he will put him back together, and they'll live with each other forever and ever. A whole new level of disturbed. Packed with lore as ever, the end of the episode seems to reveal that there are certain gods in the sky who respect the denizens of Madagascar. This is our first true taste of the supernatural in this show, and it might come in handy down the road. Still, we're only a few episodes in. This is going to drain me in the best way possible. But back to episode 4, Mort is behaving and speaking a little more intensely while doing a security check on someone. He wears a glove on his head, and it transforms him. From what I've read on the wiki, I'm fairly certain I know what this is, but I'll delve more into that later, because if I theorize now, it'll just be answered later and the time will be wasted. Basically though, Mort spontaneously changes personality, accent, appearance, and still notices that the feet look different today. In the 5th episode, he claims the feet haunt his dreams with pleasure. Mort seems to be lucid no matter how dumb he behaves. He has slightly violent tendencies too, I've noticed, to go along with his indestructibility. He says crazy things while self-aware, proclaiming Julian and Maurice's argument as a mommy and daddy fight. But pause on Mort for a second and let's go back to those sky gods the lemurs worship. When episode 7 begins, they play a boombox and clouds roll in, seemingly confirming the existence of those deities, but I have to theorize a little bit here, bear with me. Because one episode prior, King Julian's bodyguard, Clover, goes on a vacation and she meets a very strange spiritual guru inner peace guy named Sage, who, when he heads off, whistles and a massive bird carries him away into the sky. Could this little bit of oddness be tied to the sky gods? We'll need to see if this sort of thing ever shows up again, because Sage's supernatural aura could tie to these sky gods and Mort can tie to them, thereby possibly answering some things. Because Mort and these deities are the two main supernatural elements of this show, from what I've seen so far. You know, aside from this lizard oracle, this show is chaotic neutral. Julian tries to fix his boombox so as to reconnect with Kevin, the god of precipitation, with the help of a small tenoric named Timo, who claims Julian's family is inbred. Inappropriate kid.
Okay, that's like something you don't really hear in a kid's show, so maybe he's on the right track, because, again, one doesn't really mention that subject in a kid's show, so something's up here. Also, yeah, this is a lot of the stuff that's being said actually kind of matches up with how, like, something from a King Julian spin-off would be like. So, yeah. Honestly, I don't think I've seen this show, so yeah, that's about really all I can really say about the matter.
Kids show, but there's your single explanation for Julian's behavior. Inbreeding. Timo fixes the boombox with mechanical skills and becomes their scientist. He works out of a crashed USSR space pod. While he fixes the boombox to reconnect with the sky gods, Mort tries to summon rain with a song of his own and flings sticks into the sky. He suddenly screams, "Sun!" and then the sticks return stab him perfectly with maximum force. It's possible that he's an enemy of the sky gods and may not even know it. When they bring back the boombox to summon Kevin, Mort screams that the boombox is undead like a zombie and panics. You have experience with that too, Mort? In a previous episode we saw Mort's X-ray, but here, a blow dryer seems to go through his mouth and out his butt real quick, so which is it? Normal anatomy or anomalous? When he invites the local oracle into his home, he has a very odd demeanor and offers her a lotion made of his own tears. In this episode, episode 7, everyone sort of talks to themselves and acts if they have voices and identities, but Mort, as usual, takes the cake when he gets in the bathtub with the oracle and claims they'll be sisters forever. They borderline portray him as Annie from Misery, as creepy, as maximally self-aware as possible. They play the creepiest music as Mort disappears and then reappears with a blonde wig on, and treats her like they are sisters. Something's going on here. Something tells me this is a soul the wiki had referred to, one he absorbed. I'm getting ahead of myself. Next episode, Mort bullies Maurice and then joins a monarchy rebellion group who manipulates him into creating good art to convince others of rebelling. Based off of the things he's drawing, I'm quite sure he knows he's being manipulated. He flips back and forth, eats dog meat and vomits it up. He knocks a ton of cacti over on them. He knows he's irritating them. In episode 9, he's scared, then bold, then claims he saves cake for his cheat days, and then things finally hit their stride and unravel in the season 1 finale. We're going through this quick, and I'm taking notes real quick. First, Maurice claims that he's just a co-star, implying he knows he's on a TV show. Then, Mort hits back with the innuendo, saying he'd love to eat the yummy King Julian.
Okay, one, Mort's freaking creepy for making that kind of statement. Two, it is kind of strange that Maurice actually would say that, if that is what he says. So that would mean fourth wall breaking, or is he in general able to understand he's in a show? This is like the SpongeBob theory involving the whole fact of they're in a like a nature documentary. I don't know.
The finale's true purpose is what shocks me most of all and answers many of the oddities so far. You see, there's this cove of wonders near their kingdom where tons of stuff washes ashore and they find coffee. Julian gives it to the kingdom to improve productivity, and Mort tries chewing the coffee because he's stupid and he screeches about how he has a drinking problem. The kingdom starts losing it, and then, literally right after this show jokes about conspiracies of super-intelligent Middle-earth government corruption, the most actually unexpected, left-field answer to all of this madness emerges from the shadows. Mort walks in with a monocle on and a British accent, claiming coffee has had a drastic effect on him, making him extremely intelligent for as long as it's in his system. I believe Mort, being this small and having that much coffee, has had this crazy hypermetabolic effect that cranked him way past being hyper and basically acted as a drug unlocking his brain. I can't tell if this is just a more intelligent Mort or a new personality altogether, but smart Mort does claim he loves King Julian just as regular Mort does. It's soon revealed that the evil Carl guy set up the coffee to take over the kingdom with caffeine addiction. Smart Mort helps save the day, claiming normal Mort is barely competent. He convinces all of Carl's guards that they should be unsatisfied with their current healthcare plan and that he can help them form a union to negotiate a working wage and a retirement plan.
What?
I am not joking. This is like the culmination of every
hell
theory I've ever posted on this channel, and I'm made for this. Carl's workers turn on him, and Mort slowly degrades back and forth before becoming obsessed over the feat once again. The day is saved and season 1 finishes, but the show is not nearly over, and my theories are
okay, honestly, that is abnormal. Okay, something is definitely up with this, Mort. Because that just seems way too weird. Caffeine somehow, like, when consumed by Mort, causes him to become a super genius? Or, like, a high-ending government official and mentality? Yeah, something's up with that one. Because that just seems too strange.
truly just now beginning. In season 2, Mort keeps being crazy and playing along with jokes, including when he spontaneously summons an organ out of thin air and says he won't explain how he did it. The second episode is one massive social commentary after another, and the third showcases Mort's creepiness when his voice deepens. It's so romantically disturbed. He brings out the blonde wig again and then tries to make a self-aware joke by saying, "Denial isn't just a river I heard about, apparently." He claims he's been in strange love before. Or is this a separate wig persona? We meet Clover's sister, Crimson, and she almost gets married to Julian, who objects and claims he's having an affair by loving his kingdom more than her, causing her to dip out and team up with Julian's uncle, who is trying to reclaim the throne. More later on that. But the reason for Mort's wig here? He's the flower girl of the wedding. He behaves differently, I swear. It's not the Mort we're used to. By episode 4, things start to get weird again when King Julian is given a pineapple and tricked into believing it contains the knowledge of all kings prior, after he rips apart the beach ball of baby lemurs and tells them to go home and atrophy like normal children. What? Mort gets jealous of the pineapple's closeness to Julian and dreams of mutilating it. His worries aren't baseless, as Julian claims to spoon the pineapple at night. Mort kidnaps the pineapple and ties it to a chair while putting on a villainous accent and stroking his tail like a villain would stroke its cat. This is almost certainly another persona. So now we've got Smart Mort, the Misery Mort, this Mort, I'll catalog it later. They all seem to share the same motivations, like Mort has influenced them, but at their core they are not our Mort. Mort hallucinates that the pineapple is sentient and mocking him. When approached about his kidnapping of the pineapple, his inner monologue panics and then suddenly his face changes, and another Mort responds to the inner monologue followed by another, and another, and then one of them says, "I thought we were alone in here." They are now quite distinctly escalating the voices.
Okay. So that actually kind of confirms that he has multiple personality disorder. That's something to really think about. Not gonna lie. Didn't really expect it to be that kind of blunt with like I just didn't think it would just be coming out bluntly, especially like that.
In his head, from joke status to mystery status. To escape the confrontation, Mort spontaneously vomits excessively before regretting the sadness he's brought to Julian by kidnapping the pineapple. He tries returning it and evades some Fusa by tempting them with his little dance again. The sky gods perform a deus ex machina and strike down the Fusa with lightning, but Julian seemingly dies in the ensuing madness and appears in limbo where the pineapple some friggin' how proves itself to actually be sentient, unless this is just his subconscious. Just before he reawakens, Mort claims, "He looks so peaceful. I can have his body, right?" He says it in the creepiest possible alternate accent. Who is this now? Is it really Mort? Regardless of the pineapple's sapience, the episode ends when Mort crushes it with a sledgehammer. Next episode, he makes an intentionally creepy drawing of Julian, and to top it off, helps introduce money into the kingdom. He immediately becomes a loan shark who cons people within seconds. I'm not sure if his cleverness is him or another persona. He manipulates the entire population of the kingdom and creates devil deal contracts in which people sell him their soul.
Alright, that is actually going a step too far. That is definitely like mafia slash no, that's just loan shark mafia yakuza kind of shit. So yeah, that is definitely not normal. That is abnormal. Very, very abnormal. And very unsettling, in all honesty.
Or their babies. Again, this isn't my interpretation. This is all word for word in the show. He then promises Julian money if he sells his body to him by having Mort go on a date with his foot. What the fuck? Everyone starts dying off because he hoards the money as a tycoon, culminating when Mort says, "Game over," and reveals he thought he was playing Monopoly the whole time. Next episode, Sage comes back and we see the huge hawk again, who he claims is his spirit animal. Other than that, there is still no evidence Sage has relations with the sky gods. In the 7th episode of Season 2, Mort claims he's always off in his own world before his eyes split apart. This is in an episode amongst rigorous political innuendo regarding Julian's ancestor, Julian the Terrible, who is later struck with lightning, presumably by the gods, before disintegrating. Crazy show. Episode 8, though, is top-tier disturbed when Mort is so desperate for Julian's love that he convinces him he's secretly been his son all along. Mort then pretends to be a baby and embraces it to the point that I think it might be yet another personality. It's uncanny and bizarre. When Julian asks Clover to be the mommy, she picks up Mort and his accent changes again when he calls her hard and bony. You guys were right. This show takes years off your life. I feel my soul just lurching away. This episode ends up doing crazy stuff, including a pageant Karen named Tammy, who hypnotized her infant son, but the moral of this episode is this. Mort is actually older than King Julian is. We knew this before, but I want more explanation of this, and I just know I'll be getting some eventually. This show overall feels like one of those
Huh?
episodic comedies, but the writers have an absolutely phenomenal respect for continuity, better than some dramas I've seen. This makes it easier and deliberate. Commendable. But then in episode 9, Mort inhales Julian's aged toenail clippings to track him like a bloodhound. You know what's funny? Many times
The
now I've
fuck?
made a joke when writing notes here, and then seconds later it happens in the episode. Just goes to show how off the wall this really is. It is as crazy as my craziest theories. Mort attacks the guy who kidnapped Julian in this episode and literally tears apart his face until he looks thrice his initial age.
Wait, what?
I can't even. In episode 10, Julian reaches down Mort's esophagus and pulls out a live butterfly and a skeletonized human arm. In the following episode, Mort is his usual chaotic self, but we also see a monkey from the USSR who crashed on Madagascar from outer space, and he's still alive. He then returns home where the USSR flags are still in full effect, meaning Madagascar might take place in the 80s. I need more before solidifying it, though. In episode 12, Mort tries out to be Julian's rebound advisor after Maurice leaves. Mort pretends to be French, then sophisticated, and then really suggestive. He licks
That's okay. Now, as this keeps going, I'm starting to see the point he's making. He's Mort's just too abnormal in this case. Like everything he's done and everything he's like a part of just seems completely abnormal, as if it's completely out of left field. And that's really weird, all things considering.
his finger and sizzles it on his buttock. Are these more
The fuck?
personas? Well, the snazzy one wears the same wig as the misery altar, so maybe? It's hard to tell as he admits he's faking it. In Julian's time of need, the pineapple's ghost reappears to him. Still unclear whether it's an advisor from the heavens, Julian's conscience, or something to do with the sky gods. I don't know. In episode 13, Mort once again pulls the mommy-daddy card on the main characters. Weird perspective. Episode 14 is relentlessly rife with religious commentary when the existence of the sky gods is finally questioned. Suddenly, one of the gods appears, but it's just a robotic ploy by Carl to kill Julian, so they build a counter-robot and Mort attacks back. Will we ever learn the truth of the supernatural? This show's having an identity crisis and it thinks it is the leftovers. But, near the end, a massive cloud does fly down and immediately back up after raining and electrocuting, proving, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that these gods do exist. In episode 15, Mort becomes the face of Julian's new nightclub, Club Moist. He dances up on stage like a chick from the roaring 20s, singing about how Julian's feet make him weak, and everyone applauds Mort for being so moist. They rename him to Pork because he's tender, sweet, and smoky. He celebrates by raving about how this is not kosher meat. He attracts lemurs from all over the kingdom when he
Yeah, no. Did they actually show this to kids? Because that honestly is crossing a line. Like, that is not really okay to like, show people at all. Like, what the fuck is wrong with them? That's what I, I, um, I like, this is actually baffling. Like, it is so weird to hear this kind of stuff from something like this, a kid show. What the hell?
sings about bunions. This is another personality. I dare you to pull it up on Netflix and watch for yourself. Mort wishes to be used. Words from his own mouth. In the season 2 finale, Julian
What?
thinks he's dying, so Mort keeps giving him sponge baths and rectal thermometers. Onward to season 3, but be warned, everybody, this is when things start to actually get weird. What you've seen so far is literally nothing. Inappropriate messages abound about selling bodies, holes, and bloomers. With a two-part premiere, follows
True.
everyone saving Julian again, who's been kidnapped by pirates this time. Mort, as per the usual, tracks with conviction so intense he eats Julian's footprints. He organizes a battle plan as if he's some sort of warlord, maybe another persona. When they find the ship, all of the other pirates recognize Mort as Dread Pirate Mort, the nemesis of this ship's captain. Last they met, they were fighting for the love of Empress Galeria off the jagged coast of Fouche.
Excuse
He has a
me?
of the battle on his wall at home, and he screams, "For Galeria," before owning the other captain. Mort calls the other pirates mere children and doesn't object to the notion that he'd kill at least 5 people a day during his pirating years. Then, he shows off his true supernatural capabilities when Clover dangles Julian like a carrot on a stick above Mort, causing him to sprint on the water and drag their boat behind him. When Julian's parents return, Julian is thrilled, but the others are not, and Mort suggests they eliminate the parents and make it look like an accident. Apparently, he knows a guy.
Excuse me?
Everyone finally just asks Mort, what the hell is wrong with him? And he says a lot of stuff before splitting his eyeballs again. When they decide to focus on older hobbies, Mort claims his favorite hobby is making wigs out of stolen hair. Fucking fuck McFuck. Maurice's only hobby is taking care of Julian, who's the closest family he has.
Excuse me? Whose hair did he use? No, seriously, whose hair did he use?
Mort interrupts and proclaims that he's outlived all of his relatives. It's like he's flaunting his eeriness at this point. He suddenly forgets Clover even exists for a moment, and then we see into Julian's nightmare. And the second it popped up, I knew what they were doing. I just about died from throwing my body into the wall, aghast at shattered expectations. Nope. No, 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 nope. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. What?
What? Why are you talking backwards?
What the hell?
You know, this actually makes about as much contextual sense as the work it's based on. So this is directly parodying Twin Peaks, and just when I thought they wouldn't go there, they did exactly that. By the way, I did reverse Mort's speech, and he basically just says here, "Let's do this. From where we come from, there's always mangoes in the air." Reference to something that itself makes sense to the subconscious of maybe a sleep paralysis demon. From what we've seen, I must admit,
What?
Mort is the best one for this portrayal. A pineapple even flies by, once again pulling a leftovers by hiding whether or not this fruit spirit is just in his dreams or if it's really a spiritual mystery box. Mort later obsesses over Julian having dreamt of him and calls him a lover. Julian hallucinates Mort getting eaten by a shark, and Mort somehow is aware of this. Can he read minds? Mort helps make Maurice cry just to mock his emotions. Mort brings up that guy who makes people disappear, again, on deaf ears. At this point, we've reached episode 5 of the 3rd season, and Mort's back at it with that glove that makes him aggressive. He sniffs it and laughs evilly, presumably knowing that it will summon his altar like last time. We are met with more and more fourth wall breaks than ever, and Mort severely dislocates his rib and cranks it back into place maniacally. By the way, it's revealed that there's an uprising of sentient bells that plan to reclaim
Excuse me?
Madagascar from beneath the ground. Apparently, Mort does have experience with zombies, as we jokingly asked before, because in episode 6 he has a tea party with one. In episode 7, Mort romanticizes Julian again and then gets abducted by aliens after praying to the sky gods. Psychic lizard lady uses her telepathy and sees it was just some researchers tracking lemurs. They barcoded Mort. This proves that the lizard truly is magic though, and she can read minds quite clearly, so there is some supernatural in this show. Mort sifts through every personality type we've seen yet while going through this episode. Maybe they were out researching him for his anomalous psychology. They do chip him the following night, and everyone rescues him later, learning that humans exist in the process. So yes, this episode is crucial, but I question why they wear hazmat suits in Madagascar. Mort then eats a bunch of tracking chips, of course. Everyone else hides in the bunker, and when the main characters get back...
When it comes to hazmat, someone wearing a hazmat suit, it's only ever when something's irradiated to protect them from it. That or if there's a sickness or illness around. But other than that, I don't think there's any other reason one would just wear a hazmat suit. This is really weird. There is so much proof and evidence that something's wrong with Mort and all of his crimes, but I I don't get the how. Like, is he like a child of a demonic child or what? Oh wait, no, he's older than Julian. Right, right. They said that he was 50. So, what the heck is going on here?
They cannot find anyone. They think all of the kingdom raptured to the sky god's heavens. The psychic lizard laments about being left behind. This show thinks it's the leftovers again. In episode 8, Mort pretends to be a butterfly so he can start a war by firing mangoes at innocents from the air. Turns out the real butterflies are all psychopaths and were just waiting for a reason to attack, so now they have it. War happens, socio-political commentary, they kill the queen, happy ending, and then finally, we get the next true reveal episode. Sort of. Julian wants fast food for the kingdom. Mort helps out. He claims he was born 5 years premature. His grandmother left him a huge tank of healthy food. He puts on a deep voice that sounds nothing like himself. Actual anti-falsetto head-ass. It gets crazier. Way crazier. They run out of food,
What?
and Julian asks Mort to remember how they can get some more. Mort panics and screams he forgets everything his granny told him because it was 50 years ago. Julian screams, "How old are you?" And then Mort's inner voice, himself, says, "Come on, Mordecai, you can remember," before he suddenly sees his granny. She is the one with the blonde wig, from what I can best tell. He's pulling some sort of Bates Motel altar. He communes with her memory somehow. Julian slaps him and asks who he's talking to. Mort intuits the recipe for fast food and loads a bunch of discarded junk into the food tank and creates food again, but then it becomes a huge metallic black hole of smoke that sucks everyone in until Clover saves them. So we know Mort's granny has some answers to the madness. I need to see more of her, or Smart Mort, to get some true theories going here. Mort wants to eat a scorpion, but his mouth won't open wide enough. He slurps it up anyways. The scorpions crawl out and he consumes them again. It's now episode 10, more political commentary. This one is really trying hard to make itself obvious. Not particularly one way or another, but the show undoes its own lessons and just mocks literally every aspect of various situations through a lens of lemurs. The jokes also have reached the point of being as edgy as Total Drama Island, but slightly more veiled. In episode 1, Mort claims he had a homeschool prom with his granny.
Which one? The original, the remake, or like the one where it involved toxic waste, or are we talking about All Stars? Because like there's a list. There is a list of all that.
Cue to him making out with her in his mind. He wakes up and screams, "What year is this?" with a wig on. He references his grandmother again in episode 12 when he quotes her as saying, "Set the butterfly free, and if it gets caught in the spider web, there's gonna be a whole bunch of spider babies come springtime." He then flips upside down with a horrific grin on his face and crawls around the room cackling like an evil spider. He's beaten to near death by a huge wildebeest and is fine. He explains this, claiming he's part starfish, and that he can regenerate so well once he grew back his own head. They literally just explained part of his seeming invulnerability. They did it for me. This is, once again, like if my Patrick Star theories came to life. If he's a starfish, then he almost certainly is also part spider based on what we just saw earlier there. He doesn't lie. He's serious. Everything is appallingly true. He gets the snazzy voice on again when he says, "I'll do what you want. You don't have to poke me with a stick, unless..."
Yeah, I'm thinking it's either All Stars or the remake. Yep, it's starting to make sense on the Total Drama part. But this is completely abnormal. Like, how is he even here? Because isn't it, like, weird for that to be the case? Because that would technically mean that he would have, like, another animal, a part of his DNA. Like, for example, saying that he's part starfish. That would technically mean one of his parents is a starfish. So, it, this, I, um, doesn't that make that the case? Like, say that if he was a direct line related to his starfish, doesn't that mean either his mom or dad is a starfish? And if that's true, how? Because aren't uh like um starfish like they don't reproduce that way?
You want to.
That makes no sense.
He gets sucked into a reel of tape, compressing him into the cassette, but he's a starfish, so that's fine. He's fine, obviously. Clover gets hurt, and she appears in the White Void, where Pineapple greets her and brings her one of her deceased relatives. Clover knows Kung Fu like the panda variety, and her grandmother taught her before dying. This then clearly is Limbo. It's not all in Julian's mind, as Clover never met Pineapple. The pineapple is just the random form the king's spirits decided to take after people joked about it really being the case. It truly is supernatural. This has ramifications. Pineapple claims he made an interdimensional bet, and he fears he will lose it. We later confirm for good that this is the afterlife, and a bunch of fruits rule over it as they watch a cage fight between Clover's grandma and the man who killed her. This just leveled up. I'm sort of blowing all my theories now, but I really damn think these fruits are the sky gods. Or, at least what Julian has interpreted as sky gods. They call heaven Frank Rila, and this is later revealed to be Frank Rila, and the Frank Rila is the sky god's heaven, etc. Interpretation. Finally, in the season 3 finale, Julian wants to map all of the universe, and Mort claims he's from a planet named Futicus Majora in the far reaches of space. He could be pretending, not lying, but pretending. This is, after all, just a pretend map, and Julian says get your own solar system. But what if he's not kidding? This explains everything and nothing at the same time. Alien Mort. In this finale, everyone builds a wall.
Okay, wait, go back. No, his constellation drawing was separate, and he had it from before. What? So he already had to begin with? Oh wait. Wait, probably? No, wait. This is going a little over my head right here.
In this finale, everyone builds a wall to keep out the other species. They launch all of the Madagascar kingdoms out with a catapult, and then the various other kings all rally under a mysterious overseer that plans a revolution, revealed to be none other than Mort. Julian, in his direst time of need, sees the ghost of Pineapple, who's in rough shape because he lost his bets and he owes everyone money. Julian dismisses his advice as greeting card sentiment and walks away. Mort doesn't like leading a revolution, but I'm pretty sure another personality stepped into the job because he rallies all the kings to invade and proclaims how everyone has to go for the males first, sell the children, and, quote, the women. Oh, the women. We always treat with respect.
What?
I know what's him or his alter egos, and this is putting me in a tight situation. I need to cut it here because this is quite possibly the longest individual theory video I have ever posted. It might break my 25-minute limit, and I need probably 2 more. Yes, this is still all only part 2, and now it's been split into 3 sections so I can edit it all in time. I'm going to edit the next one now really quick and get it out ASAP, so absolutely subscribe and stay tuned because Season 4 is easily when things become Mort's show. All of our questions are seemingly answered, and finally, my theories can begin to flourish. Until next time, I'm the Theorizer.
Okay, so apparently Mort in King Julian, the prequel to the movies, is like completely out there. Like he is abnormal as frick, to say the least. Like everything he says, everything he's done, it's like honestly, it's unnerving me, and it's honestly proving the point that's trying to be made here. Because let's be honest, the information that was just said just makes way too much sense to the theory, and it also kind of explains the mentality of Mort, because it does seem like a multiple personality disorder. Because look at it from this perspective. A seemingly innocent character is acting abnormal through different ways. Personality, well, mainly personality, attitude, and whatnot. And look at it, everything's just out there. So, yeah, it honestly makes sense that something is freaking wrong with Mort in the head. And from what I'm seeing and being like shown, it's honestly proving that he is like not all there. So yeah, I guess we're gonna find out a bit more in the next one because season 4 and 5 seem to have like more information. But from the looks of it, considering that the next part after that is 5 and 6, we're probably just only gonna see half of 5, and then gonna go to the rest of 5 and 6. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. And then we got the spin-off, which is I guess the Penguins of Madagascar, and Truth About Mort. So yes, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hit the like button if you did, subscribe, comment, and all that other good stuff. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.